Seek. And I'm Seth. And you're tuned into the Free Game Podcast.
FGP, what it do? What it do, members? Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody stays safe. Watch some football. Ate some good food. Maybe you watched some NBA in-season basketball with the in-season tournament. I don't know, but whatever you did, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. I'm going to dive right into kind of what we got going on this week. Well, give you a long story short. We were going to give you guys a full episode this week. However, due to the fact that it's the end of the semester, and we got a lot of projects, exams and whatnot that were this week and last week, like the end of last week, beginning of this week, and we got one Thursday. We decided, to just skip this week and focus on getting our schoolwork done because that's what's most important, okay? As much as I love doing this, getting through school is what's most important. So, got to make sure we take care of that, take care of business, all right? But on top of that, Seth also came down with an illness, so we're praying for him for speedy recovery. Nothing too serious. I want to say just some kind of sinus infection or something like that. So he should be back for sure next week. We got to go see BJ play Clemson tomorrow down here at Clemson. So I'm going to need you to feel better come this time tomorrow, bro. All right? Get all that sinus out of you so we can go down there and cheer on the Tigers and BJ a little bit on the side. But come on, bro. Come on. Get it together. But anyways, I'm not going to give you guys a full episode. Not by myself because, again, like I said, we got some stuff that we got to take care of. However, I could not let this weekend just get blown by and get pushed by. Like, what happened this weekend was legendary. Like, and I don't say legendary. I guess legendary might have been the wrong words, but like this weekend was a lot, to say the least. This weekend was a lot. But before I jump into that, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the page here, whether you listen to on YouTube or Spotify. Follow us on all our social medias at The One Free Game on Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly known as Twitter, if you still use that. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right into the action-packed weekend that we had. It was conference championship time, all right? And we had 5 major games this weekend between the Power 5 conferences. We had 4 playoff spots that had to be determined between 5 teams. I know a lot of people who are disappointed who the 4 teams are that got chosen for those 4 spots. Can't say I wouldn't be mad if I was either a Florida State fan or just, I don't know, if I saw football the way some other people saw football, I'd be upset too. But we're going to jump into it real quick. I'm going to go through the games and the winners. Starting off with the Pac-12 championship this past Friday night. We had Washington against Oregon. Top 5 matchup, number 3, I believe Washington was. Yes, number 3 versus number 5. Basically, winner gets into playoff for the Pac-12, represents the Pac-12 in the playoffs. Washington ended up beating Oregon for the second time this season with a final score of 34-31. Michael Penix looked good. I mean, other than the pick, it happens. It happens to the best of them. But, they're headed to the playoffs. They're going dancing. So, after that, we had the Big 12 championship between Texas and Oklahoma State. Them Cowboys got beat down, all right, to say the least. Final score 49-21. Texas came out on top over the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Then we had Georgia, the number 1 team in the country, going up against SEC powerhouse Alabama in the SEC championship. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Them boys from Tuscaloosa rolled into Atlanta and put the tide on them Georgia Bulldogs. All right? They didn't smack them. It was they won 27-24, all right? Alabama beat Georgia 27-24. Alabama beat Georgia, the number 1 team in the country, the back-to-back defending national champion, 27-24. Woo! Couldn't say I saw that one coming, not going to lie. Neither did a lot of people. Following that, we had the Big Ten championship with Michigan and Iowa. Michigan smacked them boys 26-0. I don't even have to say much for that game. It was Jim Harbaugh's first game back from suspension after being suspended 3 games for the cheating scandal. And they came out and made a statement. Granted, Iowa's not the best team in the Big Ten, but they were in the Big Ten Conference Championship. Okay, kudos there. But holy smokes. That side of the Big Ten with Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Northwestern. I don't know who else over there. Purdue, maybe. Y'all need help. Y'all need a lot of help if y'all want to win the Big Ten, bro. Just that side specifically. I mean, you're getting the help from the Pac-12 with all those Pac-12 teams coming over to help y'all. But, I mean, goodness. Y'all just going to let Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State just dominate y'all year after year after year after year after year. I mean, come on. Have some pride. Like, do something. You can't get a field goal. At least get a field goal. Like, geez, bro, you're in the conference championship and you put up a donut. Looking like me in Fortnite, man. Whenever Chase and TJ got to carry me sometimes, man. Okay, I'm capped. Sometimes I'll be putting up like 6-7 kills, but for the most, I'll be putting up donuts sometimes, man. I'm not gonna lie. All right, sometimes I don't be locked in. But anyways, last but not least, we had Florida State versus Louisville in the ACC championship. In the home city of Charlotte, Florida State came out on top with a score of 16-6 without their starting quarterback, Jordan Travis. They won. At the end of the day, they won. All right? You can't knock it from them. Whether you feel like they should have won by more or less, Florida State won. All right? You got to give it to them. 13-0. All right? So, you got Washington, Texas, Alabama, Michigan, and Florida State as your conference champions. 3 of those teams are undefeated. Michigan, Washington, and Florida State. By simple sports logic, or anybody who's ranking sports systems, those should be the top 3 teams in the country, right? Right? It's based off record, right? Wrong. Florida State didn't even make it. Florida State, undefeated Florida State, did not make it in the top 4. Did not make it into the playoffs. Whew. Boy, did that start some controversy. Because I haven't been able to hear nothing but talk about Florida State and how they missed the playoffs since Sunday around 12:30-ish, I believe. The show came on at noon. The rankings came out about 12:30. And I haven't heard nothing but Florida State should have made it. They were undefeated. Florida State should not have made it. They didn't look good enough. I've heard both sides. I'm gonna put it like this. If I were, as a former football player, as a former athlete in general, whether you play football, basketball, baseball, soccer, it don't matter. Your team is undefeated. In the Power 5 conference, and you don't make the playoffs. I'd be sick. I would be hurt. I mean, like, bro, I honestly, I wouldn't get surprised if some of them boys cried. I personally would have shed a tear, bro. We go undefeated, and we didn't make the playoffs. What else do you want us to do? Like, genuinely, I mean, understandably, the starting quarterback went down, but they did win 2 games without him. They did. They did what they're supposed to do. They come out, they win. It's supposed to be in the playoffs. If you're going based off, just straight up record and everything, however you want to put it. However, that's not how the college football system or playoff system is set up. All right. I had to do a little bit of research in order to figure out exactly how they go about ranking these teams and everything. And some of the stuff that I found on the collegefootballplayoff.com, they look for an emphasis. This is directly from the website. I'm reading it. Quote, an emphasis on winning conference championships, strength of schedule, and head-to-head competition when comparing teams with similar records and pedigree. All right, straight from the website. To continue reading, when circumstances at the margins indicate that teams are comparable, then the following criteria must be considered. Championships won, strength of schedule, head-to-head competition, if it occurred, and comparative outcomes of common opponents without incenting margin of victory. So basically, without looking at how much they won by, whether that's 3, 7, 10, 12. Okay, cool. Florida State won the ACC championship. Florida State's schedule, granted, it was ranked 55th in the country, which isn't the best, but they went 13-0 as a Power 5 school. Head-to-head competition doesn't matter because, again, they went 13-0. Neither does comparative outcome of common opponents. I mean, essentially, you can maybe compare their game against LSU to Alabama's game against LSU, which even then, like, LSU's defense looked bad in both. LSU's offense looked like they couldn't do enough in both. So, all right, next. Like, I feel for them. I do. I feel for them Seminoles, man. Like, players and fans and everybody else who supports them. Like, I'd be hurt too. I would. Like I said, if my team, like, okay, let's use a good example. All right, my high school team won state championships back-to-back years, my junior year and senior year. We went undefeated my senior year. All right. If we were to go undefeated my senior year and our starting quarterback goes down towards the end of the year, yet we still win a couple games without him, still win our conference without him, and we don't get into the playoffs, somebody going to have to see me personally. Like, for real. If I'm being so for real, like, because you're playing games at that point, bro. Like, you're playing. What did I put myself through all throughout spring training, all throughout summer training, all throughout the 12, 13-week season that we just had? What was the point of me putting myself all throughout that to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves as far as going undefeated, winning the conference championship? What was the point of that if you're going to leave us out of the playoffs? Like, it's not like they're a group of 5 team like, I don't know, Tulane, JMU, I don't know, you name them. They're not one of them, bro. Florida State is an ACC Power 5 school who has won championships before. They've had legendary players come out of their school. Jordan Travis, the starting quarterback who got hurt, he released a statement on Twitter or tweeted something on Twitter. He said, devastated, heartbroken, in so much disbelief right now. I wish my leg broke earlier in the season so y'all can see this team is much more than the quarterback. I thought results matter. 13-0, and this roster matches up across any team in those top 4 rankings. I am so sorry. Go Noles. Hurts my heart to read that. I'm not going to lie. It does. Because, I mean, again, like, football is probably the biggest team sport there is, if I'm being honest. Like, they got more players on the field of play than basketball. Basketball is 5-on-5. Football is 11-on-11. Like, Same thing with baseball. Baseball, I understand the pitcher has to pitch, and the people on the infield got to field the ball and get it to I understand that. Soccer has to play well. They got to stay in formation, pass the ball around, make good choice. I understand that. But, oh my goodness, if all 11 players on whether that's offense, defense, or special teams, if all of them don't do their job correctly, the other team has a good chance of succeeding, if not scoring. It could be as simple as one defensive end not setting the edge. Everybody else can do their job correctly. And if that defensive end doesn't set the edge correctly on that play, and the quarterback can slip through or whatever happens, if he doesn't do his job, the play's busted, and the other team's going to succeed. All right? Unless they mess around and do something stupid themselves. Okay? So, again, I feel for it because I'm all about, don't get me wrong, the quarterback is the most important position in football. It's the most important position in sports. I'm the type of person to feel like a good system and a good team, and a team led by a good coach, I feel like that team can beat out your best quarterback, the best quarterback in the league. Okay? I stand by that. I firmly believe that. I believe you have a good system set in place and you have a good game plan and everybody's on the same page and executing to the top level that they can execute at, I believe that'll work. I truly do. And Florida State's defense looked amazing this weekend. I will say that. That looked like probably the best defensive performance I've seen this season from any defense in college football. I mean, Jared Verse was wreaking havoc on Louisville's O-line all night long. Him and the opposite edge rusher across from him. They were both going at it. And even when it came down to, I want to say it was fourth down, where Louisville still had a chance to win the game, who made the play to win the game? The defense. Jared Verse and them boys. All right? And even as a defensive player, I get it. I get it, bro. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. With that being said, I think it would have been right to put Florida State in the playoff, especially considering the fact that they were undefeated. That's just, they should have been in. It's unfair. They should have been in. However, do I think Florida State is a top 4 team in the country? Nope. I don't. I genuinely don't. And as flawed as the college football playoff is, with just having the committee that they have, whatever system, process they have to choose the top 4 teams, as flawed as it is and how bad as it is, I'm not going to say whether they got it right or wrong. All right, as far as who they should have put in the playoff. Because, again, I think Florida State deserved to be in there. They did what they had to do to get into the playoffs. But they weren't one of the top 4 teams. They weren't. And you're probably thinking, Josech, how can you tell me, how can you sit here and say, yeah, you feel for them players and you feel for the fans and the coaches and for Jordan Travis for missing out in the playoffs, even though they went undefeated, and how devastated you would be if your team went undefeated and missed the playoffs? How could you say that and then be like, Florida State's not one of the top 4 teams? Because it's just true. It's true. Yes, Florida State did go undefeated. I get it. Yes, they had an impressive win week 1 against a very good LSU team. And they also went into Death Valley at Clemson and had a good win there in overtime against a 7-5 Clemson team who had a down year, especially not only for themselves, but in the ACC. They also beat Miami, who also had a down year, and they beat them by 7 in Miami by the skin of their teeth. I don't even know if Miami's ranked right now. Oh, but they also beat Florida in the swamp. Wait. Florida didn't have their starting quarterback either. Granted, Florida wasn't even that good of a team to begin with this year. I mean, I'm not going to say that Florida State's schedule or that they didn't. I'm not going to say it was their schedule. I think it was their performance against the teams that they played, specifically in their conference. LSU win, very impressive. Don't get me wrong. However, LSU's defense sucks. Bro, you scroll through LSU's defense this year or just their schedule. I'd have to look out specifically what the number is, but I think their defense let up average like an average of 28 to 30 points a game. This LSU offense with Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, I can't remember the other receiver's name, but he had a great year as well. He had 10 plus touchdowns. This offense put up more numbers than Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. I'm going to let that sit. Hold on. I'm going to repeat that one more time. This LSU offense had better numbers than the offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson, who, by the way, went on to win a national championship that year. So you sit there and you're like, how did that offense have better numbers, but LSU finished 9-3? Because their defense sucks. At the end of the day. So congratulations, Florida State fans. Your NFL talented roster, according to you guys, with your Heisman contending quarterback and your NFL running back and your potentially top 15 pick at receiver and your top 5 pick at DN beat one of the worst defenses in the SEC. Congratulations. I'm getting so sarcastic because whenever I was debating people about why Florida State shouldn't be... First of all, after that win against LSU, even though LSU was a number 5 team in the country that week, I told people, I don't think LSU is top 15 in the country. So as good of a win as it is, yes, LSU's a good team. Florida State's a good team. It was a good game, good win. Not impressed really by either team. Players on the field, absolutely. Jaden Daniels impressed me. Jordan Travis impressed me. Keon impressed me. But looking at both teams play against each other, I thought as soon as that game was over, I thought LSU's defense was garbage, and I didn't think Florida State was top 15 in the country. And I was saying that, or Florida State was top 4 in the country. I didn't think LSU was top 15 in the country. And I've been saying that all year. LSU finished top 15 this year by the skin of their teeth. They were 14. And they really barely got into 14, for being honest. They had a couple of close calls this year. Games that they could have lost. As well as other teams, but, I'm just saying. Anyways, Florida State is flexing the fact that they beat LSU as well as Florida as their good wins this year, on top of Clemson. My argument to that is, bro, LSU isn't even one of the best teams in the conference. It's a good team. Congratulations. People asked college teams to schedule more competitive non-conference games. Florida State scheduled a competitive non-conference game and won. Congratulations. However, other teams in our conference, I say our conference because I went to an SEC school. Other teams in the SEC looked the same, if not better than you did against that same team. And that's supposed to be your best win. And those other teams have better wins. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, all right? So, and I know some people, whenever I was arguing with them, they were like, oh, well, the ACC had a better record. than the SEC this year. Like, against the SEC. The ACC was 6-4 against the SEC this year. Like, I don't know how you can say the ACC is weak when the ACC had a better record or had a positive record against the SEC this year. I got told that fact and I was like, whoa. That I did not know. And that I did not expect. But I decided to do a little digging myself. Because as good as that sounds, the ACC having a positive record against the SEC this year, something wasn't clicking. Something didn't make sense. Okay? So I decided to go through the schedule myself and look at it. North Carolina beat South Carolina. Tennessee beat Virginia. Okay? So you got two good teams in each conference defeating two bad teams. Then Florida State beat LSU. Impressive. Miami beat A&M. Impressive. Both Miami and A&M had down years, but I feel like A&M had more of a disappointing year than Miami did. Granted, they fired their head coach. Then Wake Forest beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was 0-8 in the SEC this year. So, if you want to brag about beating Vanderbilt, go ahead. Go ahead, bro. That's to the rest of the SEC, Vanderbilt is like little bro, like newborn baby, little bro. Not even that they're that new of a team, they're just that garbage. Okay, that don't mean nothing. The only way they compete, I'm not gonna say the only way they compete. They're good in baseball. I will give them that, and they're somewhat good in basketball sometimes. But in football, miss me with that, bro. Miss it with that. Then, all right, Ole Miss beat Georgia Tech, and then Georgia beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, although not a good team, they're a bowl team. So you got to kind of give credit where credit's due, but I'm not going to consider them that good of a team, all right? Then, to round out the year, Clemson beat South Carolina. Clemson's supposed to be one of the best teams in the ACC, and South Carolina is one of the worst teams in the SEC. So I'm not trying to knock the win against South Carolina, especially being a Clemson fan, because it always feels good to beat a rival. But come on, dude. Really? You're going to brag about beating some of the worst teams in the SEC? 2 out of your 6 wins against the SEC came against South Carolina, one of the worst teams. Then a third win came against the worst team in the SEC in Vanderbilt. So, I'm going to look at it this way. All right, the last 2 games, was Florida State beat Florida, and then Kentucky beat Louisville. So, I'm going to look at it this way. Just how I was trying to explain to you guys. The ACC's best win against the SEC was LSU. All right, like I said, LSU's a good team, but they still couldn't really handle with the top dogs in the SEC like Bama or Georgia or even Missouri, if you want to put it that way. They might have beat Missouri, now that I say that. However, it was a close game against Missouri, but still, they can't bang with Georgia or Bama at the end of the day. All right? Your best win was against LSU, and then you beat A&M. Okay. Then you beat South Carolina twice, Vanderbilt, and Florida. Bro. South Carolina was 3-5 in the SEC. Florida was 3-5 in the SEC. Vanderbilt 0-8 in the SEC. So what really is there to brag about? Oh, the ACC beat the SEC. But y'all scheduled the weakest teams in the SEC. I ain't see nobody from the ACC playing Alabama or Ole Miss or Georgia or Missouri. Hello? Heck, even Tennessee. Hello? Granted, the team that did schedule Tennessee lost. Okay? And Tennessee went, 4-4 in the conference this year? They went 500 in the conference? Come on, bro. Like, you got to pipe down with that, man. All that talk about, the SEC having a down year. Maybe to SEC standards, but not compared to the rest of the country, bro. Like, no. I'm sorry, but no, bro. Since the college football playoff has started in 2014, the SEC, first of all, Alabama has the most playoff appearances, which is with 7. SEC school. Most playoff wins, Alabama with 9. SEC school. Most playoff championships, Alabama 3. SEC school. Conference with most appearances, SEC 10. Conference with most game wins, SEC 14. Conference with most championships, SEC 6. You tell me who's not the best conference in the nation. You tell me who isn't just dominating college football and who isn't always the talk of college football. Heck, we had 2 SEC teams in the playoffs a couple years ago with Georgia and Alabama. And you want to sit here and tell me that they're not, one of the best conferences, the best conference in college football. And 2, you're going to brag about beating the little dogs? Kentucky got manhandled. Embarrassed by Georgia and Alabama. And that Kentucky team walked right into Louisville, your second best team in the conference, and took care of business. Yeah, you want me to believe that since your best team in the conference beat your second best team in the conference championship, that you are supposed to be one of the top 4 teams in the country? You expect me to believe that without your Heisman contender quarterback, you're supposed to be one of the top 4 teams in the country? We've seen backup quarterbacks come in and do it before. We've seen Cardale Jones come in and win a national championship at that as a third-string quarterback. The difference between Cardale Jones and whoever the heck Florida State had at quarterback this past weekend was the fact that Cardale Jones threw for 257 yards and 3 touchdowns. They also had Ezekiel Elliott rush for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they also had Michael Thomas and Curtis Samuel. All these NFL guys on that team. And they looked like NFL talent in that game with Cardale Jones. You couldn't. If I had not watched Florida State all year and I watched that game Saturday and you were like, who do you think is going to go into that draft? I'm going to tell you Jared Verse. I'm going to tell you the opposite guy, the guy opposite of him who's at edge. I'm going to say the linebacker. I'm going to say a decent amount of people on the defense. I'm not saying nobody from the offense. Not a soul. Not a soul. That's not saying that they don't deserve to be, because obviously, like I said, they have a good roster. I think Keon is NFL. I think Benton is NFL. I think Johnny Wilson could potentially have a good career in the NFL. But, dude, y'all just aren't the same without your starting quarterback. You just aren't. You just aren't. You proved to me, you proved to a lot of people that you just aren't the same without your starting quarterback. Like, I don't know. Like, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding, bro. He had 55 passing yards. 55. And you want me to be like, oh, yeah. That quarterback who had 55 passing yards against Louisville, I want to see him against Michigan next week. Or not next week, but against Michigan or against Washington or against Texas. I want to see him go up against those defenses. Yeah, they definitely have a chance against them. What is your problem? If you think that Florida State genuinely has a chance against any of those 4 teams I just named without Jordan Travis, you have a problem. Okay? You have a problem. And you need to fix it. All right? I don't know if you need to go back and watch what Florida State did this year. I don't know what you need to do. But you need to understand that they're just not the same without him. Okay? They just aren't. We've seen teams that have looked the same with backup quarterbacks. And now we've seen a team who looks nothing like the way they did without their starting quarterback. I could go on and on and on and on and on about why Florida State doesn't deserve to be, or why Florida State isn't, in my opinion, a top 4 team. And we will get into that. Don't worry. We will definitely get into that between now and the time the college football playoff is finished. We're going to bring some guests on. Seth will be here as well. We're going to bring some guests on. And we're going to debate why Florida State should or should not have been in the college football playoff this year. I've already gave you a little bit of my side. I'm going to come back with some more stuff as to why I feel like Florida State shouldn't have been in there. But for now, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you all enjoy listening to my little bit of take on Florida State and the college football playoff. I hope you all excited for the college football playoff, because I surely am. I'm not going to lie. I think with the matchups we got between, so you got Michigan and Alabama playing in the Rose Bowl, and then you got Washington and Texas playing in the Cotton Bowl. I'm not going to make my final prediction right now because I think it's a little too early. I got to see how some things play out because some key players went down this weekend, like Xavier Worthy for Texas, the wide receiver. He went down. I got to see if he'll be healthy by then because that'll determine a lot because he's NFL talent for sure, like first round. There's some things I got to look at before I can make a final decision. However, don't be surprised if we get a matchup or a rematch of that week 2 matchup between Alabama and Texas. I'm not going to say nothing more than that for now, okay? Nothing. I'm not getting into it, okay? I was supposed to have this video done. Not supposed to, but I was trying to keep this video to like 15, 20 minutes. I don't even know how long I've been going for. Like I said, I could keep going for hours. If you want to debate with me for hours or just hear me talk about football for hours, you can give me a call. You can reach out to me. We can definitely talk. We can definitely talk sports, football, whatever you want to talk. But that's all I got for you guys for now. I hope you enjoy listening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the page. Once again, give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, X. Like and subscribe like you are, whether it's YouTube or Spotify. And we will see y'all next week, hopefully with my boy Seth. Again, shout out to you, man. Hope you feel better. But that's all I got for y'all. I'm going to give y'all a nice little salute. Peace.